You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Been back in the saddle again. Boy, I'm down here in the North State, right around the corner from the Chico fire. And lost about 300,000 acres, but nevertheless, we're going to just keep marching forward. And what we want to go over tonight, it's the fans' night. We go through the comments, look at your questions, look at your responses to my opinion. So let's get in it. And we'll fly through it as quickly as we can. Carol Fires, this is something came in. First responders doing a great job. We're over 300,000 acres, but we're battling through. And we're just going to keep on going forward. We ask that you keep us in prayer. Let's take a look here, though. Going back, Caitlin Clark, Cheryl Reeves, ESPN making a mockery of game. I believe that. There's no doubt about it. Just the way they handled everything really didn't make any sense. But they have to do what they have to do. I'm disappointed. I thought they would have still made the adjustment. But it looks like when Caitlin Clark's schedule got already picked up, they had to move forward. So, and no doubt lucked out their last game. Well, call it what you want. A win is a win. Let's see. We got Dibby. I tried to watch 3-on-3. It's so boring. Okay, well, it's a different game. Half court is what they do. And I just don't understand the hype. Well, they're just trying to find a new way to keep everything entertained. Now, what I was saying, and, everybody just kind of ripped into me. And when you rip into me, you got to understand I come from the print media. There's no doubt about it. I go all the way back past 2011, 2010, covered NFC Championship, Raiders, also covered 49ers. And my deal is this. It's my opinion. But if I give you the truth, which means I'm giving you the facts, okay? So it's my opinion. If it turns into the truth, I just give you the facts before it happened, all right? So, Mr. Dibby, we got you. Okay, we got Jeff, Expel Sports Management, and then we got Clutch Sports. Absolutely. Those are the 1-2 that are running in it, and they deal with the high-profile athletes, and, of course, Caitlin Clark's high-profile. All right, let's see. Erika took herself out of the process because she knew she was on the outs for some reason. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. And that's Team USA. And, folks, I'll be upfront and honest. I haven't watched the game. I won't. That's just my belief. I believe in equity, which is fairness, and we didn't get that. So, it's a part of the business, but doesn't mean that I have to agree with the business. So, you got it. I'm with you. All right, let's go. Reeves, exact comment prior was seen in the trenches with these players. They have played together before, minus Clark. Yeah, I get it. And, I get Diana Taurasi. What is it, your eighth Olympics? At some point, we gotta march in, move forward. And a lot of the team, they didn't beat the WNBA All-Stars, and that ended up how good a team or how hard it was to make. WNBA always has a selective process. They do things the way they want to do it. And, that's going to change. And that's where I tell you where, you're going to have a new league coming in. Mike, congrats on the 100,000 subs. We thank you. We love you, fans. We appreciate your support. And we'll keep pressing on and keep delivering what you want us to do. Absolutely. Okay, USA don't need her to win the gold. Turnovers and no defense won't get it done. Too much distractions, they just want to hoop. Hey, man, you know what? Here's what gets me. That's a great response. And I'm always going to respect everybody's opinion. But here's where I'm rocking and rolling with this. You got a new game that came in. Now, here's the deal. You got a new game came in. If this would already been existing and everything was flowing and you had all the sellouts and everything, everybody can respect that. Nobody's going to argue with that. But when you get somebody bringing it to the game and, international presence, that's where the NBA is going. It's all about global revenue. And, I just don't get the fact that the best players on the court don't get to take the court. And by the time I watched the WNBA All-Star game, I said, hey, you know what? They just flat out lied to us. And what got me on that is ESPN went ahead and backed it up, and everybody want to talk about how hard it is to make the team, how much you got to do, what Caitlin's got to do. Caitlin Clark's so advanced than the other players. Now, there's one or two, not saying everybody, but you got to keep it real and 100. Unless you see somebody else doing on the court what she's doing, It's not possible. All right, so here we go. I got you there. Clark has made plenty of money. Well, you know what? You got to always strike when you're at the peak of your earning potential. She made $2 million. She has endorsements out of the wazoo. She should limit her exposure to make it more valuable. She doesn't need a gimmick league. Yeah, and when you talk about a new women's league and new whatever, and folks, like I said, looking at the NFL, I've been tracking down on these things, and they've been striking at the NFL for a long time. I mean, they go all the way back to the AFL, to the USL, USFL. Now they got the XFL. I mean, you got to understand, nobody's going to let you have the whole pie. In America, competition is really what grows the game. So when you have one or two leagues competing against each other, that's how the game grows. But, I mean, let's be honest. In America, if somebody doesn't like what you're doing, and I give you the Saudi golf. They started that Saudi golf, and, the PGA golfers were hesitant. Then some of them went over, and then a lot of them started going over, and then the PGA said, we better partner up. Now, is that going to happen in the WNBA? Probably not, but I don't think the WNBA is going to be the only league. And it hasn't worked that way in all of sports history, and it ain't going to change now. I mean, there's blood in the water. Sharks are out there. You see a lot of people get upset. But Clark's got in her peak earning potential. She needs to go ahead and earn as much as she can. All right, so there's a quick one. Camilla Harris. Camilla Harris hasn't received any votes. We'll move forward on that. Great topic. Eager for update. 3 to 6 months with pittance. The WN players wouldn't take much to buy them out at all. In fact, one top NBA player's salary, which is $60 million, is enough to feed all of the WNBA. And you know what? That's 100% correct. That's not wrong. That's right. Okay, so, and when you look at it, I just don't understand the pay disparage where you got an NBA player making $60 million a year and the top of WNBA player can make is like $78,000 or $100,000. That's just way I don't even know how you get up in the morning and look yourself in the eye. Okay, I'll keep it 100 on that. I mean, because the women are they're doing the same thing. They're playing basketball. They're packing the arenas, okay? And let's see, they lost the game because they were possessed with stopping Caitlin. Well, you're probably right, but that really is not going to change much. Let me tell you why, because you ain't going to stop Caitlin Clark. All right, and here's the deal. When you got all the other players, everybody's talking about they were trying to recruit her and get over there. Let me tell you, Indiana Fever is not letting Caitlin Clark go anywhere, okay? And on top of that, you happen to see Cheryl Miller. That's a part of the Indiana Fever family. Why? Because Reggie Miller played his entire career with the Indiana Pacers. So, I mean, Cheryl Miller's family, and they know her well. So she came in and coached her up and had a good time. All right, so here we go. The best news I've ever heard, new women's league, exactly what to knock the WNBA back down there. And folks, you could take it 100 different ways. You could say, hey, you know what, you're nuts. But, in America, there wouldn't be a Burger King without a McDonald's. Okay, let's be honest. I mean, you got to have competition, and competition increases pay. And that's the way it's always been. That's how the AFL and the NFL merged, because basically you want all the women to get opportunity. Now, what are you saying, Money Mike? I'm saying that all of these women here, okay, when you open up the door, you're going to find out there's other players in there that can play just as good as the players in the WNBA. The new league, parent, when it gets going, it may reduce where you come out after one and done. Okay, so there's a lot of things at stake, and it's just part of the business. Corporate enterprise business, United States of America, competition which makes the world go round. Is there a new option for rookies to move? Why are teams trying to informally recruit CC? Does the owner fever even care about winning? The owner feeder, Herb Simon, and the family, they're 100% into winning. Now, here's the deal. And here's how it all shakes down is it's an unusual bylaw that they put in as they started the league, and here's what happened. I mean, you put players on an unrestricted contract, and normally when they play a little while, they show that, okay, this is a big-time vet. You could restrict them But when you're an unrestricted free agent in the WNBA, it just comes down to a buyout. All right, so what does a buyout mean? Well, you're going to pay, $76,000 for the next 3 years. We'll just give you the cash, and then we'll go ahead and take over, and we'll take Caitlin Clark from there. Or, here's where the NBA and the free agency work. See, it's going to be a bidding war. Right now, that's why I believe the salaries are so low, because you got it structured, and nobody can go any higher. Okay, but if you had owners where they could take that salary, and let's say for instance, the Golden State Valkyries, they wanted Caitlin Clark, and they said, look, here we do. We'll give you the $300,000 for the contract, and we'll take you off your hands. Or we'll give you the $300,000, and we're going to give her $1 million a year. Okay, so what does that do? That makes indianafever step back and say, wait a minute, no, we're not doing that. We're not accepting the buyout. We're going to go ahead and move Caitlin to $2 million a year. Okay, that's how it's going to work, folks. And for those owners who don't want to spend money, eventually you got to let the talent rise and you got to let them move on. And that's just exactly what's going to happen. So it's a weird one. The only way they can stop is Kathy Engelbert. They'd have to call an emergency meeting with the board, and they got to write some new bylaws. Because the bylaws they got, that ain't going to fly right now. And the whole process and the procedures. So there's some adjustments to get them to the next level. All righty, let's see. I just started watching. Good job. We appreciate that. We thank you. And we always try to do it for the fans because that's the most important thing to us. And if the fans are satisfied, we're satisfied. And we always try to project it ahead, so we'll let you know what's going on before it happens. So we thank you. And to the support of everyone, we love you. All right. Seems if all the leadership positions in the WNBA are filled with those that can easily lie, good grief. Well, you know what? That's a message that needs to be addressed. I believe in equity, okay? When you talk about equity in corporate enterprise business, you're talking about fairness, okay? And one of the things that really just caught me off guard and made me really just say, wait a minute. Okay, when we bounce back, okay, first we start off and everybody's saying Caitlin Clark's not good. Okay, then we go on to ESPN and we say they're not good. We go through all the media. She's a rookie. But here's the deal, folks. For me, I held my ground. I saw it because, you know what, I've been in basketball a long time. And I coached them up, and one of the things I do is specialize in the point guard position. And when I saw her open up from the first game and I saw they couldn't catch the passes, I knew it. And when I saw her shoot the ball, I saw it. And when I saw her take all the beating, bring it up against the pressure when they should have been in a two-guard front, I saw it. So I knew eventually, and I knew they'd come on in there and get the right offense, get the transition in there. They got to bring in other people. And Christy Side's doing the best she can. But here's the deal. There ain't no other Caitlin Clark. Okay? There ain't no other Caitlin Clark. All right? There's nobody that can do it like Caitlin. And there's nobody can draw fans like Caitlin. So let's keep it real. We could do all this other stuff, talk about it, but you had a 28-year head start. That's where Money Mike is. WNBA had a 28-year head start. Wherever they're going to be there, they have already reached their destination. Okay, so then here comes Caitlin, and now there's a new destination. The bar has been risen, okay, and it's hard to swallow that pie. It's hard to swallow. It doesn't taste good because it's like a slap in the face, but nobody's slapping you in the face. They're just letting you know that it's a new sheriff. That's all. Okay, what do we got? Dan Corbett. I got you, Dan. Here we go. Muscle memory statement is really funny because the WNBA All-Star team didn't have a single practice, just a couple walkthroughs. At least the Olympic team has been able to practice. Fans pay salaries of everybody in the WNBA, or that's what they hope for. This is probably the first time in WNBA history. We're going deep here. Okay, coaches, owners, players, at least 1 year because CC turned a fire hose of stacks of Benjamins. That's right, turned down money to come to the WNBA. Okay. All-time viewership and butts in the seats. I got you. Reese and CC could be Magic and Bird. Okay, this is the deal. That's great. Man, this guy's got a great response. All right. And really, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to how many bodies or butts you could put in the seats. it comes down to it's the fans' choice of who they want to watch. Okay, and it's everybody's choice, and the WNBA is doing it differently. I mean, the WNBA is really interesting how they're doing it because they're instead of opening up the market and say, hey, take a look at our market, come get it. I mean, everything's coming on a pay-per-view. And you know what? Like I said, that's going to get real interesting, and here's why. Because if you don't get it figured out, I'm telling you, if you don't get it figured out, man, if something happens to Caitlin or one of the stars and you got to run back on your own, that could be challenging. And that's going to tell the truth. All right, so there we go. Caitlin Clark, I've done my part. I'm tired. Yep. SW, I agree. Her legs are dead and shots isn't there right now. Wouldn't have done it, and she wants to compete, and when she's at her best against the best. Okay, so here's the deal with that. That's great response there, too. You know, when you play somebody 40 minutes a game, let's be honest, folks. You know, Clayton Clark's average is about 36, 40 minutes a game. Okay, so eventually you're going to wear your legs out. I mean, you're just going. You came right out of college. I mean, she's going to play an NBA season this year. It's going to be up over 80 games, you know, somewhere around there getting close. That's a lot of games, folks. So you got to get the rest. I think the shooting's going to come right back where it was. I think that everything's slowed down for her, and the speed of the game is slowed down, and she's got it wrapped. Okay, Miss Nancy, the WNBA old players have a clique. That narcissistic clique will take the credit for it, although everyone knows the newer stars are drawing the audience. I'm with you. ESPN has been creating fake news for a couple years, so yeah, that one get me. And folks, let me tell you why that one gets me. It's because you get them where, you know, you got these guys who played in the league backing it up. Okay, Caitlin Clark's not this. Caitlin Clark's a rookie. Caden Clark. And here's the deal I always say. A lot of people want to judge somebody else's career on theirs. Okay, and because you didn't have the same career that Caitlin Clark and you struggled and things didn't work your way or go out. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Caitlin Clark, I mean, it's like Floyd Mayweather. It's a throwback. She's a throwback basketball player because she got taught the fundamentals. Dad stepped in, took her to the right trainers, and she learned the game the right way. And now everybody else can't do it because she's a pass assist first. Okay, she can get it downhill, and she can shoot it a little bit. And she's handling that got tremendously high usage. Okay, with your two-guard, you get an all-star two-guard over there. You take some of the pressure off, and then you'll really see how she plays. But, you know, I mean, I get it. The old regime, you guys had it, and it's moved on. That's why I talked about Taurasi. I mean, you're talking about the Olympics, and you're on your 7th, 8th. Okay, that means you want to talk about people saying Caitlin Clark selfish? That's selfish. Okay, that's selfish. What do you want to go to 10 Olympics? Okay, I mean, let's be honest, guys. I mean, the game for it, the advance for it, you got to take out the old and get into the new. You can't just sit there and just keep on doing what you're doing because at the end of the day, that's not going to work. And I know it's not going to work. And you've got to know it's not going to work either. And that's just how the game is played. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we're bringing it to you nonstop. Okay, what do we got? See, Caitlin doesn't need to score. She's just as happy as passing the ball, which she does better than anyone else. That's right. I get you. They double team and triple team her. They just will pass to the open player for a basket. I'm with you. And let me tell you, you get assists. Assists is the most important. And the next thing that comes around, they talk about the turnovers. Well, in actuality, your assist to turnover ratio should be somewhere like 2-1. All right? We got nothing but smooth jazz playing for you, but we're going to keep on walking down. Thanks for the video, sir. Hey, we love you, and we're going to be right here with you. WNBA is on a little break, but we'll try to keep it interesting. All right, here's what we got. We got Van Santam. What's going on, Mr. Van Santam? All right, let's get back to it. Mr. Van, Team USA lost because they placed too much emphasis on stopping Clark. Pressed her. If Reeves, though, was good enough, then they would, why worry about her so much? The All-Stars are holding their own, and then Enrique got hot, and it was over. If Clark, who was also hot from the three-point line, there would have been an even bigger All-Star by about 10 points. I got you. That clock scored 10 or more in the first half, 34, and Enrique's 34 in the second. It not only will be a big win, it'll be an absolute slaughter, like senior high school playing against junior high school. I called that one. I knew they'd beat them. And here's the deal. You got Phoenix and everybody trying to act like they want to recruit Caitlin Clark. Let me tell you what's going with that. The players, that want to play with Caitlin Clark ain't going nowhere. Okay, you're in the Mecca. You're in the Naismith, home of basketball. So if you want to come play with Caitlin Clark, man, free agents, the door going to be wide open. And the only thing I got to tell you, get there before the contracts are up, because I wouldn't hesitate, because at the end of the day, my, she's going to shine. And everybody who plays basketball wants a point guard that can drop dimes. They call them dropping dimes because you put it right where it's supposed to be. She's got the pocket pass. She's got the two-man game. Okay, she's got the transitional game. All right, so let's just keep it what it is. All right, here we go. Caitlin Clark, Cheryl Reed making a mockery. Yeah, that was embarrassing, folks. You know what? You got to respect Cheryl Reed when you get right down to it, folks. Let me just tell you something. When you get Team USA coach, who is also a head coach, okay, and look at what happened. You got Team USA got beat by the Allstars, okay. The Minnesota Lynx got beat, okay, by the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark. All right, the Phoenix Mercury got beat by Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark. So here's the deal. You got all this stuff about she's not ready, but she beats you. So you're either pulling a rabbit out of the hat and making this stuff up. And when you do it the way you is and you take the podium and you start using profanity, that means you're limited in what you can do. And this thing ran over you. And I'm telling you, folks, everybody's ready to just move forward. And you keep fiddling around with this thing, I'm going to tell you. I mean, America's about competition. And they're always going to be searching. And if they see something that's good, man, believe me, competition's coming. All right, well, we got Jeffrey Lord. We got the leader in assists isn't on the team. The league leader in rebounds isn't on the team, man. You calling it just like it is. You know what? And everybody talks about analytics and efficiency, but when it came to the Olympic team, we throw that out. We don't care. And it's a bad mistake. It's a bad mistake across the board. I feel sorry for the investors because they could have done very well, and now they got to go make it up somewhere else. Team USA was too busy double-teaming Caitlin Clark instead of playing a game. They see if they can guard any players like they did her in the Olympics. Mary Gooden, you know what, Mary? You know what? It's a ridiculous thing. It's jealousy. It's jealousy. But I'll tell you this. Caitlin Clark's got a photographic memory. So whatever you thinking you did to Caitlin Clark, man, oh man, she coming back to you. Okay, so whatever you put out, we're coming back on the same channel, and she will beat you down to the ground. She is not a coward. I do know that much. All right. Olympic team is funded by Caitlin's millions of fans. How come she's not included? All right, I love the comment, but that's not true. I mean, you got a lot of the NCAA. They do fund the Olympics. You know, college football bowl games, NCAA Final Four. You know, even though the athletes are getting paid, they still fund it. And that's how the Olympics keeps going. That's why it's so pivotal to have college football in place, because a lot of that money from college football goes to the Olympics. All right, let's see what we got. We're rocking and rolling. Caitlin was sitting next to Asia Wilson, three-point contest night before the game. She told her that the WNBA, she told her that team, WNBA, was going to destroy them, and she was right. She knew that team was too slow to keep up. Well, the rabbit side of the hat, better basketball players, younger, stronger, and faster. I mean, you can't change that, and that's a good comment. Loving that comment from John Raymond. All right, what do we got? We're going to go to Mauricio and back to John. She told agents to her team, yeah, wish the shooting would have been on. Yeah, a couple logo three would have said rest. Yeah, it's the legs, folks. Got to get rest. And you got to have enough depth on the team to, you know, really, Caitlin plays 32, 33 minutes a game. That's plenty. All right, but just got to get the rest. All right. Now she told Asia that the WNBA All-Star team would destroy the Olympic team. Yeah, that was obvious. There's no doubt about that. Independent quorum, yeah, I got you. I mean, that's too easy. I mean, you can automatically see that they weren't built for that. They weren't built to walk up and do what they did. And you got younger players, and Enrique just lit a fire. But you know what? With the right point guard, Enrique going to do that every night. So, Enrique, you know what? I know you're in Phoenix, but you know what? You might want to come on down to the Indiana Fever. And, folks, that's the way it's going to work. If you want to play with Caitlin, you better come on to the Indiana Fever. All right, thanks for the correction. Asia was on the WNBA because she was positive +1. Team USA had almost all of the players in the league negative. Yeah, well, you know what? When you look at efficiency and these guys start talking about efficiency, we have to tell you this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And we are powered up by Fanatics. We're bringing it to you, and we're walking down because the fans are what we do it for, and there's no doubt about it. So when you look at it, all the WNBA Team USA players are running negative for the season. Yeah, that happens. That happens, okay? And this was premeditated, done before it ever happened. And I think here's what I also think. I think those rosters at the top, they're facing something a little bit different, and here's why. Okay, all the top 5 teams or top 6 in the WNBA, they've been able to walk through there and always have all the shine and all the attention. They're the ones that would be on the national TV games, and they're the one that everyone will see. Well, guess what? That ain't happening, okay? Because right away, the WNBA has been approached by the media, by television, say, we want CaitlinClark on. We'll give you the new contract, but we want CaitlinClark. And that's the deal, folks. So, I mean, you had a 28-year head start. If you didn't get it done in the first 28, you're not going to get it done in the next 28. But the new players are coming in with technology advancing. And yet that's really what it is. You got social media technology that's created a buzz for the game. And this is the college basketball fans. Let's face it. I mean, they got a right to be demanding because that's who they are and that's what they do. And they're just demanding a better product. All right, that's the way it is. All right, Mr. John Raymond, you're back again. I know I saw it. You did it with a smile. Had to use a male metaphor. Apologies. Wow, wow, wow. You know what? At women empowerment, I'm 100% behind it, so it doesn't really change for me. She also had to dig at her friend Sue Bird about the cis dress. Yeah. You know why? Because you can't take all the heat. And that's a great response, John. You can't take all the heat, guys, and then go in there and be like, okay, well, Caitlin can't say anything. You know, I mean, she's holding up her end of the bargain, and it's just like, hey, you hold your tongue, you hold your peace, okay, because you got to remember, as a global basketball ambassador, okay, the fans and the kids are looking up to you. And you can't go out there trying to, be it in a certain way or profanity, anything like that. As far as CaitlinClark at the records, I ain't worried about that. CaitlinClark going to break every record the WNBA got. Let's be honest. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's just what she does. And you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. We got them right for you in the description. Take a look. You get your CaitlinClark jersey or your favorite WNBA, NFL, MLB, NBA, IHL, and we also have sports memorabilia. So this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and man, we are sailing along. And no essence of the post didn't say what essence of my post said, but did you bother to click the read more? Yeah, I read more. There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, I read more. Reed was pushing Caitlin not to shoot where she's comfortable, and she missing 3-pointers, but never had missed 2-pointers. Most importantly, Caitlin's orchestrating the WNBA success. Well, of course, she is. Especially regarding type and amount of quality passes. Yeah, due to being prevented from making alongside Caitlin most unselfish player. Great response. That they did. Yep, I'm with you. Mario Woke, you're not even sure if it's true. I don't. You know what? For me, folks, I come out of corporate enterprise business. I believe you trench your past, you find your way. Okay, so I did my 20 years in AT&T and National Business Markets, and that's why I cover. After meeting with all the CEOs over the 20 years and sitting down, I cover from the organizational level. I really don't get down to the players, and I don't see color. Okay, if you can play basketball, you can be red, white, green, purple, or orange. Don't matter to me, because at the end of the day, it's all about winning games. Okay, Clark should be a player coach. Clark is the coach. Folks, this is how it works in the pros, and it works this way in college basketball as well. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When you don't have a point guard that can play, you're coaching every possession. Caitlin, you don't have to do that, and this is where I'm going to Christy Sides. Christy Sides needs to let Caitlin Clark run the game. This is like Magic Johnson came in. You got to let the big fella, you got to let Caitlin play her game. Okay, Caitlin can give the instructions, so you don't have to jump up and down, yell and scream on every possession. That's what you call over-coaching. Right now, because Christy Sides hasn't learned or hasn't gained enough experience to start under-coaching. Sometimes you sit back, like Steve Kerr, and if they don't do right, you do like Steve Kerr do. Here, Draymond, here's a clipboard. You coach the team. I'm done. I'm going to sit down and watch. You guys go figure it out. Okay, because sometimes the coach is not going to get you to win. It's the players on the floor that will get that for you, and they'll get it done. And when they start understanding what their responsibilities are and they're fully bought in, Christy Sides can sit back and drink a Gatorade or cold water and enjoy your team. All right, but we'll see if that happens. All right, here we go. User, okay. Coach is taking the worst and making champions, not the best players make the coach. Okay, I'm not players make the coaches, taking the worst and making champions, not the best players make the coach. Okay, I'm going to try to figure out that. That can happen, but this is pros, folks. And let me just tell you how it goes down in the pros. It changes, and when you go down in the pros, it changes to the point where the coaching changes because the players know what they need to do. It's a full-time job. There's no other classes or school activities. You're just working on your craft, and the players. Some players like working on the craft, and some players like when they're off time doing other things. So that's the major reason. I think Angel Reese could be a great, great, great player, but I know Angel Reese is working on the court, off the court. There's really going to be so much time to get better. Now, with Caitlin, she's always going to be working on the game of basketball. And, you can't have it where the coach is taking the worst because you get a franchise player that changes it around. So, you can look at it both ways, but I think if they retool, they got a couple more pieces they're going to get. Indiana Fever might win 3-4 WNBA championships. We're whipping you now with what we got. That's what I would be saying, Indiana Fever, Lynn Dunn. Okay, Christy Side. We're whipping you now on what we got. We won't whip you any worse when we get the team set. All right, Drummer Boy, what's up, my man? I guess when your time is come and gone now in the WNBA, all you have is jealousy, younger, stronger players making moves that you should have taken a chance to push for. If the younger, stronger WNBA and the old or older players want to part ways, now they're just saying retire. That's what it's going to be. Money Mike told you. If you look on Money Mike Syndicated Podcast, you go to my playlist channel. It's got a chronological event order that's going on, and I predicted, by the time they get this deal signed, everybody's going to be moving forward. You know what? Half the players aren't going to be here, okay? Because that's just that. You know what? For whatever reason, it's just not for you. All right. And they're going to tighten things up and make it crystal clear so everybody can understand that. But it's a new day. It's a new game. And I always tell you had a 28-year head start, but now you got superstars. Okay. And like I said, when you got them coming in and they're coming in, you got big time players. You got to just adjust because that's what the fans want to see. And if they were following him in college, they got a right to follow him in the WNBA. All right, what do we got? I saw one post that CC broke 23 records in July. Yeah, that one there kind of buzzed me. And they still won't give her player of the week or player of the month. Yeah, I mean, you know what? This thing is just, I don't know. I wish I could call it, but you know what? This is why I tell you competition makes the world go round. Because you got to be able to do both. And when you got a franchise player like a Caitlin Clark, man, you got to let her shine. And all that international, man, you know what? You would have took her over to Paris. She would have played. Didn't have to play as much. But you would have brought all that international, would have been buying more subscriptions to your platform. And it's about money, but in the WNBA, they're saying it's not about that. Now, here's what happens. So now you got to go out and remarket all this over again and build it back up. Okay, you talk about jersey sales. If you'd have put Caitlin Clark over there, the USA Caitlin Clark jersey sale would have brought you a lot of money. Okay, and that's what the plan, the fans, the players, everybody's got to understand. Folks, you're playing for money. This is the pros. Okay, you're not playing for free. Okay, and when you got a revenue share that's so far off tilt, you got a revenue share that's so far off tilt. I mean, it might be like 90-10. Okay, like, and here's the deal. If they would have been in a 50-50 revenue split, I'll tell you what would have happened. Kate Clark been on the team. Okay, but because the revenue split so far off, that's why Caitlin's not on the team. All right, so, and I corrected last year, 14 of the 16 million viewer games when CC is playing. Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, if somebody else can draw a million, stand up, put it on social media, shout it out. Hey, I'll draw a million fans. All right, if you can do it, we want to watch it. All right, Murphy Soul. I'm so with you on that. The world is such a crazy way these days. I need my 40 minutes of good basketball. I'm kind of improvising there. We played ball to escape it from all, and is that too much to add? Now, that's a real deal fan comment right there. All right, he's saying he just wants 40 minutes of good basketball. Can we do that for my man so we can just enjoy it? He can sit down with his family, watch the game, and enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, the fans are what you do it for. All right, and we go to Mr. Grumpy Cat. What's up, Grumpy Cat? Let's talk about it. The league is full of lazy freeloaders like Reeves that have been a parasite on the NBA that covers 50% of the league. Why give a blank when you get your money for free? Well, I mean, you know what? As a fan, I can respect that. The deal is this, so, I mean, trying to protect the history of the league when you're trying to build the league, you got to look at it, folks. Used to be you could play in the the NBA at 36, 35. That ain't happening no more. I mean, it's too many. The training is starting too young. And here's the difference now why the WNBA is having a hard time accepting it. See, once they moved the grassroots for the man, they started paying the NILs and they started signing them 16 years old, put them in academies and everything. Same thing they're doing with the women. The training has started so much earlier. So even if the players wanted to get as good or better, they wouldn't be able to do so because they haven't been trained to play that way. And that's what's frustrating because the other players want to play the same way. They just can't do it. Okay, it's the training that stopped them. The truth is WNBA is not used to this kind of tension. They won't acknowledge Caitlinclark. Now, hey, I'll tell you something. You're right. The WNBA, Mr. Hesis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The WNBA didn't know nothing about this. And man, oh man, when you start selling out arenas, need bigger arenas to watch Caitlinclark. And here's the deal. That's why I don't want anybody else to even make a comment or anything about Caitlin. Because if for all the other WNBA players, if you can go out there and play 40 minutes a night, just like Caitlin, okay, you can sit there and take the abuse. You could sit there and have to do all the interviews, okay? If you could do all of that, then you deserve to be right where Caitlinclark is. But when Caitlin came in, the deal was she never came in. She came in to play basketball, okay? And I get it, black, white. Well, that's just part of sports, okay? I mean, in the NFL, you got the black quarterback and you got the white quarterback, okay? In the NBA, you got the black player and you got the white player. WNBA, you got Caitlinclark's white player, black player. I mean, you keep going on with that all day, every night. But she ain't getting all this recognition because of her color. Now, you kiss that baby goodbye. She's not getting all this recognition because of her color. She's getting this because she's a basketball player. She's good at it. She's been chosen. She's God-gifted. And nobody else could do what she do. And if they could, then start doing it right now. Okay, but this thing with the records and all that, and the players don't even know the records, hell, we could break a record. Seems like in the WNBA, every minute we play is a record broke. Okay, I mean, so that just tells me that players weren't focused on building their game. And if they were breaking records, we'd have been writing about it. But we're here now. We got you. All right, so here we go. Maurice coming back. Yeah, typical case. Be careful what you went for. They want what she brings, but they don't want the person that brings it. He is correct. Politics. He's the majority of them there. You know what? You can't. You know what? Man, oh man. You know what? I got to give the fans. When I talk to the fans and I read your comments and I go through them, man, I got nothing but respect for the fans. You know, because they're right. She's right. She's right. Careful what you went for. And you want to kind of you want to bring it as the NBA as a whole. And it sounds like they want to market NBA as a whole, as a team, as this is how the game is played. But let me tell you something, folks. Let's talk about the Jordan brand. All right. Now, when you had the Chicago Bulls, it was Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. I mean, let's be honest. It's just like the Jackson 5, and then it became Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. Okay, well, you got Caitlin Clark. Okay, when you get to be a superstar, that's what I mean by being a superstar. You get one name labeled in front of your name, right? You get one name. So when you had Reggie Jackson play for the New York Yankees, you know what they call him? They call him Reggie. Okay, they don't even mean. When you have Ricky Henderson, you get up there, they call you Ricky. All right, when you get to Michael, they're saying Mike. Okay, your name moves to a one frame and not two names. Okay, because the fans and everybody love you so much. And you know what? To be as young as these girls are and balling as much, and I'm seeing these high school girls dunking. I'm seeing a compilation of the high school girls dumping them in. This is miles ahead. All right, so the new talent is coming. I tell you what, you got another one. You want to know what her name is? Juju Watkins. 6'3". Boy, oh boy, oh boy. If she fell into the hands of the Indiana Fever, Juju Watkins, you could kiss Christmas goodbye. And that's what's going down. Caitlin's going to get some players that are just like her. They just want to play, have fun, enjoy it, and make it a really special moment in their life. So guess what? Caitlin ain't going nowhere, but you can come to the Indiana Fever. We're doing it with open arms. Yes, we are. All right, I love that. Sabrina's the youngest at 26. Yeah. You know, you got to look at that Team USA. I mean, that was just a vacation in Paris. And I won't spend too much time on that. That's old news. All right, so what do we got? We have players who can catch her passes. Wow, that was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, that Jocko Jones, man, if I'd love to see anything, I love to see Jocko Jones and Caitlin play. Because if you get a ball to Jocko Jones, man, she can pass it, and she plays the old school game, okay? But, you know, the Fever have dropped a lot. But you saw in the All-Star game, they're catching them. That's a great point right there. We're going to wrap up. We'll do a couple more. Robert, what's going on, Mr. Robert? I really want to know if the owners showed up at All-Star Weekend and compared notes. They're the ones who can get WNBA management to act like a real business that can be scaled. That's what we're talking about, scalability. Okay, there's so much growth the WNBA can have, but I think it's all structured. And when things, you got to understand that they're doing it for the betterment of the league, and they're also doing it for the stability of the league. But I do think they got another level there, and they got to balance that out. Because here's what's going to go down. The WNBA is going to be asking for more games. Okay, this new CBA, they're going to get off of the 40 games. Because, see, all they see is the numbers. So if they're seeing sellouts and rising numbers, heck, instead of it doing it for 40 games, why don't we do it for 60? Then instead of it doing it for 60 games, why don't we go ahead and do it for 80 games? I mean, that's how that one's going to work itself out. But you just got to say that, you know, it's a tough call, folks. I mean, I just try to keep it where it is, and I try to make it really make sense. But at the end of the day, you have to really say to yourself, okay, what are we really trying to do? This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We are powered up by Fanatics, and we are just doing something special for you. All right, so let's enjoy it. You got nothing but good. We'll see you soon. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And we're going to go ahead and play out the smooth jazz and take it home. We'll see you soon.